I wanted to share about healing and how it is connected to therapy and the mental health world and counseling. So, part of our one of our tracks at Water's Edge is what's called Christian integration. And what that is it's bringing God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit into therapy. And this is only for clients who would request it or want it. And we get a lot of referrals from churches and different people who are requesting that. And we certainly get our fair of referrals who don't want that. So we meet each person where they're at. Um, but this is what I would say about the process of healing. There are three different types of healing in the Bible. And of course, you have the instantaneous healing where, let's say Jesus heals a person right on the spot. You've got the type of healing where maybe Jesus asks them to do something and then they have to go through a little bit of a process and then they get healed. And then the third type of healing is what's referred to as therapia, and that is the process of healing. And a lot of times I work with clients who they want the healing to come and they want it to come now. And I totally respect that and I agree with them. I want them to get their emotional healing more instantly. But what we find at Water's Edge is that people do need to work towards their healing. And God honors that process and He can speed it up at different times. But something to think about when you're thinking about therapia and the process of healing is that God's building a new infrastructure inside of you so that you can tolerate and handle the healing and the freedom that He wants to give you. And so I often think about the parable of the wineskin, where He talks about we wouldn't pour new wine into old wineskin because otherwise the wineskin would burst. In the same way, I think about healing. If God pours all of this freedom into someone's life, but they're maybe not ready for it, then that they might not be able to contain that healing or sustain it. And so instead of thinking about the healing process, whether it be from depression or anxiety or an eating disorder or trauma, a lot of times our symptoms inform us and they tell us something that's deeper. And so it's honoring the symptoms and going deeper. And if you're doing the Christian integration, going deeper with the Holy Spirit, with God, or with Jesus, all three of them, you'll find that there's meaning and there's a message in there for you if you have the ears to hear and you can listen. So I want people to think about the healing journey as, yes, it's something that takes time, but there's a purpose in it. And God has a purpose for your life. And you may not fully know it. Sometimes it feels like we're in survival mode when people are struggling with suicidal symptoms or eating disorder, depression, anxiety, trauma. It's really hard. And especially the time we're living in, it's really hard. And yet, in the healing journey, there will be a point where you will be able to recognize that God has a purpose for your life, that you're not alone, and that He wants to use your story and your gifts in whatever form that might be for Him. And so remember that in the Bible, there is the therapia, there is the process and journey of healing, and it does take time.